everyone, Lindsay here, and it's time for another VHS haul. This time, I've got about 4 or 5 tapes, all in the horror genre, and these are ones that I've just added to my collection in the past few months. First up is The Pit and the Pendulum.
Maria is like an angel. Satan was an angel.
This is directed by Stuart Gordon, who also did Re-Animator and From Beyond, and it stars Lance Henriksen as Torquemada, the Grand Inquisitor of the Spanish Inquisition.
There is one faith, and all else is sin.
Also in this film are Oliver Reed and Jeffrey Combs. The Pit and the Pendulum, a bizarre descent into hell inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. In his twisted quest to save souls, Grand Inquisitor Torquemada, Lance Henriksen from Aliens and Near Dark, leads a bloody reign of terror, torturing and killing in the name of religion. His evil knows no boundaries. Caught in this insane cruelty is Maria, Rana Del Ricci, whose beauty lends Torquemada into temptation and brutal atonement. Imprisoned, Maria and her husband Antonio, played by Jonathan Fuller, are befriended by Esmeralda, played by Frances Bay, a confessed witch. Together they struggle to save themselves from the sinister Torquemada and his machine of ultimate pain and torture, The Pit and the Pendulum, featuring the dynamic Oliver Reed as the Cardinal and Jeffrey Combs from Re-Animator in a darkly comic performance as the Scribe. Contains graphic violence and nudity. This came out in 1991, and I'd say the tone of this film is as a dark comedy, but Lance Henriksen notoriously took it very seriously and only took the part if he could portray it in a serious manner. So there's kind of a disconnect between his performance and what everyone else is doing, which is great to see. On this VHS copy, there's actually some bloopers and outtakes at the end of it. And most of it are Lance Henriksen shouting at inanimate objects. It's very fascinating. And it contains an amazing sequence where Frances Bay's character, Esmeralda, she's a witch and she's gonna be burned at the stake. Well, before she's taken out to be burned, they've got her in this like carriage with the cage around it. She gets her hand on some gunpowder and just swallows handful after handful of it. So when they take her up there and set her on fire, she explodes and her bones fly everywhere and they impale people, and it's great. So yeah, check out The Pit and the Pendulum. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites.
The Pit and the Pendulum.
Up next, we have Side Effects.
So what did you take? Better than heroin, LSD, or X. This is the world's perfect drug.
Side FX. It's an official selection of the 2004 Chicago Film Festival, and it's a winner, the Best Texas Feature at the Deep Ellum Film Festival of 2004. A fatal drug with a thirsty side effect. Yikes. Directed by Patrick Johnson. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll will never be the same after a medieval sex drug. You heard that right. Medieval sex drug. Makes a comeback on the college party scene. Everyone wants to try this orgasm drug, but no one considers the side effects. This drug took its first victims in 1646. The church soon discovered that the blood-drained corpses found around the countryside were due to a powerful elixir that made selected victims thirst for blood. While under its influence, average men and women turned into animals. The church destroyed much of the drug and vampires, so they thought. It's now modern day and some medieval vials have been discovered. No one knows this drug makes you thirst for blood and its side effect can kill you. I actually watched this piece of crap. And what you just heard me read is really just the backstory. Most of the story is this group of teenagers and or college students, and they take this drug and they throw this huge Halloween party, and pretty much everyone just turns into vampire zombie-ish things and a bunch of people get killed. There's only like 1 or 2 flashback scenes that have to do with the stuff that happened back in the medieval times. But yeah, it's a really giant piece of crap. It stars Amanda Phillips, Todd Swift, Aaron Garrett, Amber Heard, and Marta McGonagall. The only person I've ever heard of is Amber Heard. She just played Mira in the Aquaman movie, so she's come a long way in the past 15 years. From a small part in Side Effects to one of the biggest movies ever made. So yeah, Side Effects. It's really dumb. Up next, we have another Stuart Gordon classic, and that is From Beyond.
Humans are such easy prey.
If you want a really in-depth analysis of From Beyond, Red Letter Media did a review about From Beyond and Re-animator, and it's really good. You should check it out if you haven't. Let's take a look at the quotes on the back. One of the most entertaining and fun flicks to come along in quite a long time. The return of real fear, real depravity to the horror film. A hilariously grisly amalgam of sex, shock, and satire. From Beyond is a wonderfully gruesome tale of horror based on H.P. Lovecraft's classic tale of suspense. Dr. Catherine McMichaels, a beautiful psychiatrist, and her associate, Dr. Crawford Tillinghast, have discovered a sixth sense. Their detailed studies have found a dimension where the ultimate pleasure is reached by eating another human's mind. The resonator, capital R, is the powerful machine that controls this new pleasure zone. Without warning, the resonator turns itself on, possessed by some unexplainable force. Crawford is the machine's first victim, turning him into a creature who feeds on human brains. Now, Crawford searches out every brain he can find because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. If you loved Re-animator, wait until you visit From Beyond. I got this VHS like a month ago at Used Books and More, and it came with this sticker on the front. I'm assuming that that's their last name, I'm hoping. Otherwise, that's a pretty interesting title. And this has Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, Ken Foree. John Buechler did the makeup effects, and through much of the movie, Jeffrey Combs has like this penis thing coming out of his head. So definitely check it out, the classic From Beyond.
From the makers of Re-animator, From Beyond.
Up next, we have a creature feature, and that is spiders. I got this for $1, I think, which is probably $1 too much, but the future of the human race hangs by a thread. This is marked as thriller, but I'm gonna say it's horror. Assigned to cover the space shuttle landing, college newspaper reporter Marcy and her colleagues head out to a restricted area of the desert, where they are also attempting to prove the existence of aliens they believe have landed there. When the shuttle crash lands nearby, they sneak into the headquarters and stumble upon a secret, unauthorized experiment that has gone wrong. A spider on board that was injected with alien DNA is now on the loose, and each time it kills, it gets bigger and hungrier. I watched this a couple weeks ago, and for most of the film I was really mad because there's only one spider, and it's called Spiders. And also, the spider doesn't get very big until the end. But there's some really awesome sequences, like a huge spider crawling out of this guy's mouth. And the end sequence is just hilarious because the special effects are absolutely terrible. So if you really like the So Bad It's Good movies, I highly recommend Spiders. You just have to have a little bit of patience at the beginning to get to the good stuff. But this is directed by Gary Jones. It stars Lana Parrilla, Josh Green, Oliver McCready, Nick Swartz, and Mark Pellin. This came out in 2000. It's from the good people at Trimark Home Pictures. And last, but certainly not least, we have Tobe Hooper's Spontaneous Combustion. This is a great movie. I love it. You got so many awesome things going on in this film. It stars Brad Dourif, it's directed by Tobe Hooper, and there's a scene where John Landis spews fire and completely is engulfed in flames and burns up to a crisp. It's great. It strikes without warning from deep within, with such deadly force that within seconds its victims are reduced to a smoking heap of ashes. Its name, spontaneous human combustion, a baffling phenomena that has been documented for centuries but has lain hidden in protective obscurity. Until now. From horror mastermind Tobe Hooper comes Spontaneous Combustion, a mind-searing tale of evil unharnessed, of unstoppable power and unspeakable fury. Such great adjectives. The story of one man, Sam Kramer, born of a pernicious top-secret radiation experiment, who must now face the awful truth of his legacy and the heinous power that has turned him into a tickling firebomb. A tickling firebomb. Yes, he goes around and tickles people until they start on fire. A ticking firebomb. A sizzling pressure cooker in which revenge and redemption are found only in the cleansing flames of deadly fire. From Tobe Hooper, the director of Poltergeist and starring Brad Dourif from Mississippi Burning and Child's Play, Cynthia Bain from Pumpkinhead, and Melinda Dillon from Harry and the Hendersons. Color approximately 97 minutes. And this came out in 1989. I really like the stuff at the beginning with the parents who are locked in the underground bunker while they're doing the atomic testing. I love that whole sequence. It's so weird and campy. But yeah, make sure you check this one out, Spontaneous Combustion. It makes no sense at all, but it's just really, really fun to watch. Spontaneous Combustion.
Spontaneous Combustion.
Well, that's gonna do it for this VHS haul. I've still got a lot more tapes to get through, so we'll definitely be doing more of these. If there's a certain genre that you would love to see coming up, I'm gonna do thrillers and sci-fi fantasy and a couple other things planned, so stay tuned for that. But as far as this video, this is Lindsay signing off. I will check you later.